Welcome to Kindred Spirits. I'm your host, Christy Brower, and you're listening live here on Fantastic Fridays on 12radio.com. I'm so excited to be here with you. It's so fun to be on Friday now. I've been on Friday for about a month now, and it's really been a cool experience to move my show. I've been in the same place for 5 years, and it's changed a lot of things. It just changes the energy of the show, and what I end up talking about shifts throughout the week because I have more time to think about it. So I just think that's wonderful. I would love for you to join me in the chat room. I am in there in two ways. So you can join me in the chat room by going to onetoradio.com and clicking on that on chat. That brings you to our Facebook group. Of course, if you're not a member, simply ask and my producer Scott will let you right on in. Now you'll see my pinned post at the top of the page, which is the chat room. That's where you ask me questions, comment on our topic, ask for readings or healings, which I'll do later on in the show. But you will also see that I am live there on Facebook Live. So if you would like to watch the show, you can do that by simply watching the live video. If you're not a Facebook person and you would still like to watch the show, you can do that over on YouTube. Find me, Christy Brower, on YouTube, and I am streaming live right now on YouTube as well. So try to make this as accessible as possible for all of you, and then also available later. So the YouTube video will stay there on my YouTube channel. I also post it on the home screen of my website, which is christybrower.com. So some easy ways to get the show if you missed it or if there's something you want to listen to again. I like to do that because I feel like I know for me, sometimes somebody will hit on a topic and later on I will go, man, I need to hear that again. I remember that had some impact on me. I want to hear it again. Where do I do that? So you can do that by my website or my YouTube channel. You can also do that at onetoradio.com in the on demand. Just look for my name in the on demand and you'll find that my shows are there as well. So obviously, my shows are everywhere. I've got you all over the internet. So you can find me wherever you want if you're looking for, a way to interact with me or if you have a question or a comment or something. Okay, so I have a lot to talk to you about. I missed you last week. I was traveling and had a great time. It was really nice to just get out for a couple of days and have a break. But it's nice to be back too. I always feel weird, sort of feel like a kid playing hooky from school when I should be on my show and I'm not on my show. Like the time comes up, I'll see on Facebook a notification that my banner has been posted in Facebook, and I'll be like, man, I feel like I'm skipping school by not being there. So it's nice to be back here with you. I want to talk about perspective today. And we've talked about perspective here on Kindred Spirits quite a few times. And I have a shifting perspective meditation that we're going to do later on in the show. Perspective is one of those things that I feel like needs to be revisited on a regular basis because our perspectives change and our understanding of perspective changes. And it's really helpful to talk about it periodically. I'm going through something right now that has blown me out of the water as far as perspective is concerned. If you've listened to me for the last couple of weeks, that I'm currently writing a book and I'm doing it through the Author Incubator Program, which is, I'm telling you, if you want to write a book, this is the place to do it. It is amazing, the help and support that you get. But one of the things that I am learning that is so powerful is about perspective. It is about how everyone sees things differently and how when you're writing a book, you have to decide, who are you writing that book to? Who is it? What is their perspective on their problem? Not what is my perspective on their problem, but what is their perspective on their problem? That blew me away. It should have not blown me away, frankly. I've worked with hundreds of people over the years, 20 years in human service. I certainly should have, understood that what I need to do is look at it from the other person's perspective. But it hadn't really dawned on me that that's what you do. Tremendously powerful experience and is really helping me to understand how to write a book that gets people's attention, that answers a question somebody else is asking. It's amazing. I also have a coach and I have an editor that are helping me, and their perspectives are amazing as well too, because they see what I write and me in a different way than I see me. And sometimes I really need that. I think we all do. Do you ever feel like you get stuck in a rut where you just It's like the same experiences over and over and over again. Things don't change, and you just see everything the same. I know I do. I think we all do. And it has helped me so much to have somebody else from the outside look at me, someone who doesn't know me well. Honestly, it's been helpful to be strangers, for them to, recognize me for what I do and to help me to see what it is that I really do. Crazy stuff. You'd think that you know what you do on the inside, but we don't always. Sometimes we have to hear what other people see or how that impacts other people to really get it. And it's really been a life-changing experience, and I'm in only in the very beginnings of it. There's so much more to happen, but I just feel like I'm growing by leaps and bounds every single day, which is so cool. So I just wanted to share that with you. The other reason I want to talk about perspective today is I was talking to someone that I know quite well, that I really admire, that I feel like they have overcome some tremendous obstacles, some things, some difficulties that most people will never even consider experiencing. And this person has overcome all of those things and yet continues to see themselves as being in a bad place, as being, a sort of a victim and in a difficult place, and never really having made any progress. And I see it so much differently than they do. And I try to, express that to them in order to maybe give them a little bit different perspective, hopefully that they will get it. But it just made me think about perspective, that we get really stuck in our own story, don't we? We get stuck in that story of how we got to where we are now. We know all the past stuff. Other people don't necessarily. They just see us for who we are right now. And who we are right now is a combination of everything that we've experienced up to this point. So for us, we're still on that path of struggle in one way or another. And someone else might look at you and go, "You're already there. You've already made it. You're stuck in the past rather than seeing where you are now in the present." And I think we all need that wake up call from time to time. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about perspective today. So, sometimes, like all of us, I forget that my perspectives color my perception of everything. I forget that I'm the only person that has had the exact same experiences that I've had. And so I'm the only person that sees the world the exact same way that I do. And I don't mean that that makes me special, because we're all that way. My own set of experiences have colored my experiences and perspective, and so do yours. So there's so much for us to understand about each other and about ourselves. I'm always going to see the world slightly differently than you because of my experiences. You're always going to see the world slightly differently from me because of yours as well. So even when we're all in the same place, doing the same thing, having the same experience, our perception gets in the way, and it can tweak the way that we experience it or the way that we perceive it to happen. So it can be tweaked by our past, our personality, and every thought and feeling we've ever had. It's a wonder truly that we ever agree on anything. Because when we talk about being the same, we're not really the same, are we? We're so different. We're so different in so many ways. But we do have similarities. I don't mean to say that. But in this time of perspective, we all have an individual one. Now, because that's the case, it does not mean that my perspective is more important than yours, or that yours is more important than mine. It doesn't mean that at all. Our perspectives are equal. But we have to remember that they are a single view of life. They are not an all encompassing view on life. They're that tiny view, that pinhole view of life. And we have to be careful getting stuck in the idea that our perspective is the only one, that our perspective is the right one, that what we think is better than what someone else thinks. None of those things are true, are they? What is true is that we all have our own experiences, and that when we can learn from each other and allow other people's experiences, that's when we really connect with each other. So recognizing my own bias is really important, and it helps me to understand other people. So we all have biases. I have a bias because I'm a white woman. I have bias because I'm a woman. I have bias because I'm a lesbian. I have bias because I'm from Idaho. I have bias because I live in a small town. I have bias because I live in a place that is very conservative and I am not. So I have a bias about that. Those are things I have to really check myself. Am I being fair in a situation and am I really listening to someone else? Or is my bias getting in the way and judging something? This is a really hard one because we don't see our own biases. We have to become really intentional about our own biases because we can get stuck in them and really not see anything from other people's perspectives. I had an experience this week that sort of made me think of this. You heard me talk about this on Psychic Sisters, but my air conditioning has been broken. I have central air. I am not a hot weather person at all. And living in Idaho, hot weather is a fleeting experience. It doesn't happen for very long. We're already coming out of that heat wave, but we had a couple of days that were close to 100 degrees and we had several that were in the mid 90s. That's really, really hot for us. And I discovered that my house, which is brick, when there is no air conditioning, is basically just a brick oven. I was thinking about those brick oven pizza places. Like, okay, I get it now. I know why brick ovens cook pizza because they also cook humans. It was so hot in here. During the day, it was 85 degrees in my house, and I couldn't get it below that. We had fans running everywhere. Really shifted my perspective about living in a place where it's hot all the time. I have no idea what it's really like. I have a small inkling, considering my situation this past week, but I have empathy for people who live in, Arizona and California and Florida and Georgia and places where it is ungodly hot all summer long. I can't imagine it. I don't think I could do it. Part of my perspective on it is that I don't think I could do it. Having lived through just a few days of that much heat in my house, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to live in a place like that. So it's another way of just looking at perspective. When you have a new experience, it gives you the opportunity to see something from somebody else's perspective, from somebody else's way of seeing things. This really matters in interpersonal relationships. It really matters at work. It really matters in all situations where we're in relationship with other people. We really have to, check ourselves about, are we using our bias? Is our perspective ruling everything? And are we not allowing anyone else? I think the key to all of this, and everyone needs this, but the key to not letting your perspective or your bias get in your way is by choosing to believe someone about how they feel and what an experience means to them, regardless of whether or not you've had it yourself or you understand. We have to listen to other people and we have to understand from their perspective. I can't feel the same way that they do necessarily, but I can intellectually understand it. I can go, okay, this isn't what I think or feel, but this person's perspective has generated this belief or this understanding of something. We have to believe each other because I'm not going to have all the experiences in the world. I frankly don't want to. I've got plenty in my own little place. But what I do want is to understand other people a little bit better. And I think we do that by believing each other. If someone says this was hurtful to me, even though it wasn't hurtful to you, you need to believe them and shift. If someone says this makes me sad, or someone says this makes me angry, and you go, wow, that was not my experience at all. It was funny to me, or, I didn't really have an emotion about it. That's okay. Their perspective is just as valuable as yours. So we have to be careful about not getting stuck. I think that this is a huge problem in the United States right now. Um, our political climate is a complete disaster, as you all know. I'm sure the entire world knows. And one big problem that we have is this idea of perspective and bias. We don't understand how other people feel. We get stuck in our little bubbles and we know how we feel and what we want and what we believe is right. And then everyone else is an enemy rather than taking some time to understand, why do people feel this way? What is their perspective? Instead, what we have happening right now in the US is just constant attacking each other. which is ridiculous. It doesn't work. It's not humane. We're never going to change anything if all we do is fight. We have to start understanding each other from other perspectives. We have to listen to each other and hear what other people think and feel and say. It is my belief that all people are generally good. It has been my belief for a long time because I read people's energy bodies. That is literally what I do. And everything else that I do builds upon that. And what I know from reading people's energy bodies is there is a good heart inside of the vast majority of everyone. So even if someone does something totally opposite of what you think is right, does that mean that they're not a good person? No. Does that person believe something totally opposite than what you believe? And does that mean they're not a good person? No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Something that I feel strongly to continue putting this message out about needing to listen to and believe and understand people from their perspective. What has their life experience taught them about how the world is or how it should be? We can only understand each other by listening to those stories and believing each other when we talk about our own experiences. So, to help us do that, I wrote a meditation. I think we've done this one on the show a couple of times, but this is called Shifting Perspective. I wrote this to help us to find a way to intellectually, spiritually, um, metaphysically connect with someone and create a picture in our minds of what their perspective is on something. So let's do this meditation together. Scott, if you'd cue up my music, you probably already have. Let's do shifting perspective meditation. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Feel peace in your heart. And allow that energy to transport you to another place, a place of understanding. You are transported to a quiet room full of comfortable chairs. Choose a chair and sit down and relax. Before you is a screen. On this screen, you can project any thought or memory that you want to examine. On a table next to you is a basket full of colored glasses. When you project a thought onto the screen, you can wear glasses of different colors to change the way you see the image. You will notice things that have been hidden about yourself and anyone else involved. So let's try it. Choose a person or situation that is very intense in your life right now. As you think about it, an image appears on the screen. Examine the image for a moment. Feel the intensity that radiates from the image. Now, let's shift your perspective. Put on the red glasses and examine the image. How does it change for you? Do you see the hidden need and fear in this situation? How does this change your understanding? Now, the yellow glasses. Do you see the hidden self doubt, guilt, and shame? Sorry, I skipped. Let's go back. Now try the orange glasses. Do you see the hidden emotions? And how does this change your understanding? And now the yellow glasses. Do you see the hidden self doubt, guilt, and shame? How does this change your understanding? The green glasses. Do you see the hidden self loathing, grief, and pain? How does this change your understanding? And the blue glasses. Do you see all the words that have gone unsaid in this situation? How does this change your understanding? And the purple glasses. Do you see the missed intuitive hits? How does this change your understanding? And the silver glasses. Do you see a guide or an angel? Ask them a question. How does this change your understanding? And last, the pink glasses. See the situation through unconditional love. How does this change your understanding? Take off the glasses and examine the image with your new understanding. Do you feel the same intensity? Take a moment to ponder how your perspective has shifted with a clearer understanding of all involved. And now, take 3 deep breaths. and open your eyes. All right. I hope that helped you to shift your perspective. I hope you know also that that is something that you can use on a regular basis, that idea of using the different colored glasses to see different things, um, to see something in different ways, to see something from someone else's perspective. I'm sure you noticed that the chakra colors are included there. And so basically, what I did is I brought you through a person's energy body to see, the things that we don't see, the things that are hidden. When we are struggling with a certain situation or a person, and we're struggling with our perspective, there's so much that we don't know. We may be looking directly at them, and yet we really don't know them. There's so much we don't know about their history, or about why, or about their fears, or about their needs, or something that they're avoiding in their life. There's so much that we don't know in a particular situation. And so I find that shifting perspective is very helpful in understanding somebody else and understanding their situation. So that is why that I chose that meditation for this week. I will be doing readings and healings later on in the show. And so if you want to ask for something, please feel free to do that now. You can do it in the chat room at 12 Radio on Facebook, in the Facebook group. Right now, I'm going to share the stone and the card of the week that go along with this theme. So the card. Oh, I wanted to tell you something because I noticed it in the video and I thought you might wonder. If you wonder why my glasses now have a blue tinge, I know it makes it a little bit hard to see my eyes in the video. The reason for that is, if you remember, if you were listening to me back in January, you know that I developed my first Oracle deck, and I did it in 3 weeks in January. And I did all of the artwork and wrote the book for it and all of the things that I did. And I gave myself a pretty good case of eye strain and developed some sensitivity to blue light. Probably already had it, but it got a lot worse. So blue light is the light that comes from the screens from all of our devices. So my new glasses have a blue light filter in them, and it makes them look a little blue on the outside, but it actually changes the color slightly of what I'm looking at on my screens, and I don't get eye strain anymore. So if it seems a little weird that my glasses are blue, it is for good reason. It actually is protecting my vision, and which is good because now I'm doing another, marathon, spending time on my computer writing my book, and so I need to be protected from the ill effects of blue light. So if you are noticing, this was something I learned that I did not know. If you're, feeling like blue light or screens bother your eyes, it's probably the blue light. And you can get a filter that's a coating that they put on your glasses that will filter out some of the blue light, and it makes everything more comfortable to look at. So that's why my glasses are blue. Okay, so the card that I drew for this week to go along with perspective is the owl card. Primary message of owl is knowledge, wisdom, and discernment. The challenge is deception, ignorance, and being unwilling to learn. So I think particularly the challenge here is ignorance. It's ignorance of other people's perspectives. It's ignorance about the idea that everybody's perspective matters and that yours is one of many and not the only one. I think we have to be careful and not get stuck there. It can come across as being kind of self-righteous if we think that our perspective matters more than anyone else's, when it's important to understand other people's perspectives. Now, I want to be clear that I don't think that we have to agree. I've been working to understand other people's perspectives. It doesn't mean I agree with them, but it does help me to understand where they're coming from and why. And I encourage you to look at that. The meditation for owl is, Dear Owl, please guide me in discerning truth. Help me to be open to truth and willing to learn. So it's that opportunity to be open, to listen to other people's truths, to really hear what somebody has to say and really understand why something is the way it is, or to understand why they feel the way that they do about a particular thing that maybe you're at odds about. The stone that goes along with owl is petrified wood. I'm just going to show a piece here in the video. Make sure everybody can see it in my videos here. There we go. This is a heart. This is a piece of petrified wood cut into a heart. Petrified wood is a powerful grounding stone. So what it does is it connects the root chakra to the earth. One of the things that can happen with perspective, especially when we're shifting our perspective, is that we can feel a little unstable. It can make us feel like where our foundation is shifting a bit under us, because understanding someone else's perspective can affect your beliefs, and generally in a positive way. But when that happens, it can come across as being a little bit scary or some change that maybe we weren't prepared for. So a good grounding stone is always called for with perspective. It also gives access to ancient wisdom. I want you to think about what petrified wood is. Petrified wood is wood. It's a tree that has petrified into stone over time. So there's some wisdom to be gained there, isn't there? There's some understanding of longevity and some awareness that my individual perspective is so small in the grand scheme of things. Petrified wood also calms hot emotions. It helps to settle us to a place of feeling safer and calmer. So, a couple of things that you can do with petrified wood: meditate with it in your lap to balance and connect your root chakra and soothe hot emotions. So, if you're feeling unstable, or if you've had a confrontation with someone and you're feeling your perspective being challenged and you're trying to understand theirs, meditate with a piece of petrified wood and just hold it in your lap. Or you can meditate with petrified wood on your third eye to access some ancient wisdom. Ask that old tree about this. One of the things that I know to be true is that things that seem super, super important in the moment turn out to be not that important at all in the long run. Very few things are going to matter a few months from now, sometimes even a few weeks or a few days, and definitely 5 years from now. So many of the things that we find irritating right in this moment will not matter at all. So finding that perspective, I think, matters. That long game perspective is something that I think petrified wood can help us to do, simply because it is the energy of a tree that has lived a whole lot longer time and seen a whole lot more things and experienced more things than we ever will. You think always, when I'm thinking about petrified wood and working with it, I'm always thinking about the redwoods in California and about how long those trees live and about how many human lifetimes that is and how much they see come and go, and how what they really see as being important versus not important. I think that's powerful stuff. So those are the stones, the stone and the card of the week that I wanted to share with you guys. Let's see here. Give me a second. I want to refresh my Facebook page, which, as you know, can be kind of dicey. Sometimes it's a helpful thing, and other times not so much. I see some of you asking for readings in the chat, though, and we're going to get there. So let's get started. Sorry. I hate scrolling because it's silent, and radio silence is one of those deadly things you're never supposed to have. Okay, Eva says, hello, Christy. I would appreciate some energy adjustment if possible. Of course, Eva. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on with Eva's energy body. Oh, boy. Whew, right in your head. I feel like, I feel like something's piercing my head from one temple to the other. So I feel like you're having some headaches, some brain fog, some sinus issues. Like there's a real congestion of energy going on up there. So let's just clear that out. Just going to release all of that. I would remind you, Eva, to get my meditation energy breathing from christybrower.com. It's a great way to balance yourself. It will help you to balance your root, which will then help you to clear your crown chakra. It's quite a great way to clear that cycle. So I want to just encourage you to do that. I'm going to clear your crown for you, but then for long-term efficacy, I would say get that meditation to help as well. Also, spend some time with some petrified wood. That would be a great way, if you've got a piece, to do a little meditation with that and help it to ground you. Really connect heavily to the energy of the earth would help with that head as well. Okay, thank you for your question, Eva. Liliana says, I would love a clearing, please. Next week, I will take my certification test. I really want to pass this test. Yes, I bet that you do. Let's see, Liliana. I'm gonna pull a card for you if I can find them. Here they are. Let's pull a card to help you to see what does your focus need to be as far as this test is concerned. Do a little shuffling here for you. I remember those days of certification tests. You guys know I'm a social worker and I had to take one after I graduated from college and I was getting my license. And you sort of feel like your entire life is on the line when a test like that comes up. It really isn't, and I'm sure this test, like most, to give you multiple opportunities if you need them in order to pass. But let's see what you really need to know about taking this test. There we go. Ooh, and it's the Raven card. Okay. So this is all about wisdom. This is all about synchronicity and messages. This tells me that getting your knowledge down solid is what you need to do. Obviously, that seems obvious with the test. But I feel like if you have any intuitive hits, Liliana, about particular areas that you need to review again, that you're maybe not as strong in, there's something, there will be a reminder if it hasn't already happened. So synchronicity is often a reminder of something that we need to do or we need to be aware of. And Raven is always about synchronicity and wisdom. And so I would say that any area of the test that comes up for you, if you think about it for a moment, and maybe go through the different topics it could include, or categories or whatever, and really ask yourself, feel it in your heart, which one of these, or if it's more than one, do I need to put more time into? Am I not quite ready for? Use your intuition to um, identify the areas of the test that may be more of a struggle for you than others. That's what I really feel like you need to do in order to focus yourself. I feel very positive about it because this synchronicity card also indicates that magical things happen, that miracles happen, that things occur that you maybe not would not have expected. And so I feel like your potential for passing the test is very good, but use that message of um, needing to seek wisdom, in that you need to use your intuition really to find the areas that maybe you need to put more energy into. So ask yourself, however you need to do it, hold things to your heart. I think that always helps, or to your solar plexus, because the heart and solar plexus are two very active intuitive areas in the body. And so, decide which one you get more energy from and use that, and maybe even write them down on a card or something and hold them to your chest or your stomach and ask yourself, is this one, am I ready in this area? And you'll have a positive feeling or a negative feeling. If you feel this openness and a release, then yes, you're fine. If you feel a tightness or a constriction or a pain, that's an area that needs a little more attention. So go through your stuff and do that to help you to know which direction to take for this. You've got a few days, and so do that to spend some extra time in the areas that seem to need more help. Okay. And good luck to you. I really do think that you're going to pass and that things are going to go well. I feel good about it for you. So make this your priority. Make yourself a priority right now when it comes to this test. Make sure that you're getting exactly what you need as far as time and attention to yourself are concerned as well. Don't let other things get in the way. This is one of those things that can change your life to pass this test. So don't give it up to somebody else's need, for example. All right. Thank you for the question and good luck. Please report back. We'd love to know how you do. Okay. Oriana says, I would love an aura reading if you have time. You betcha. Oriana, let's take a look at your energy, buddy, and see what's going on. Oh, okay. So you have a throat chakra attachment. It's in the back of your neck, kind of low on your neck, upper back, bottom of your neck area. And this is work related. It is a thought form attachment. It's the kind of arrow that we fire back and forth at each other when we're irritated, when we're frustrated, when we have emotionally charged thoughts in reaction to something someone else has said or done. So I'm going to pull that for you and just heal it. I'm going to release it, and I'm going to drop that into the vortex of white light, heal it, and send it back to where it came from. So that immediately releases that pressure there. Just going to do a little energy healing to balance you. I would say that you triggered a coworker, and that's okay. We trigger each other all the time. You didn't say or do anything wrong in this situation. It's just about the other person's reaction. So be aware of that person, be aware of the way that they reacted. It may change the way that you respond to them in some ways to know that this was something they had a strong reaction about. Um, it, I never want anyone to feel like they're wrong when they get an attachment like this. It's not about being wrong, but it can be something that you can shift in yourself, changing the way that you communicate with this person. She says, makes sense. I had neck pain last week. Bad. Thank you so much. Yeah. An attachment like that will give you neck pain, definitely. So think about it a little bit before you interact with this person again. How can you change the way that you communicate? Still be honest with them and truthful, but maybe change the way you do it just a little bit in order to shift their, you know, understand their perspective a little bit to help shift their response to you. It can help protect you from an attachment like that. Okay, let's see. Violet says, I've had a headache for 3 days now. It's been a while since I've had this. I changed my diet and my supplement made a major change for the supplements and made a major change for the best. But I went camping at Yosemite a couple of weeks ago and caught a bug. So I had to stop my normal holistic supplements for other bacterial fighting regimen. Hence the return of the headaches, migraines during my monthly magic time. It's a great way to say it. Um, I could really, sorry, my thing jumped. I could really use some cleaning and balancing, please. Yes. Let's get you cleared up, Violet. Let's see. Oh, your whole system is thrown off by a root chakra misalignment. So your root is unstable. It's shifted off to the side. So you're sitting at sort of an angle in your energy body, which causes this zigzag pattern in your chakras. So we see the chakras when they're in a good place being a spiral, a straight line spiral up the center line of your body. And that's the way energy flows through us the most efficiently. That's when we feel the best. When your root shifts off to the side and you get this zigzag pattern, it causes energy to run through you a little slower. And so you don't feel as well. You can feel sluggish, headaches are common, other body aches and fatigue, those kinds of things are what happen when that occurs. So let's do a little balancing. I think since you're not the only person that has a little shift there, why don't we do energy breathing together? Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a drink. Thank you. Okay, so let's do energy breathing together, and that will help you, Violet, and I think it will help several other people as well. So just bring your attention to your root chakra. Pay attention to where it is. Is it in the center of your body, right at the base of your spine, the way it's supposed to be? Or is it shifted off to one side or the other? If it's shifted, just use your hips to shift it back into place. Shift it into the center of your energy body. Now, remember that your root chakra is the foundation of your energy body. It is the largest chakra in your body. It runs from the base of your spine all the way to the bottom of your feet. So we're going to reconnect our energy to the energy of the earth and ground and center ourselves, and then practice some energy breathing. So drop your root cords. So 2 red cords of energy out the bottoms of your feet, down to the center of the earth. And in the center of the earth is the goddess Gaia. She is the spirit of the earth. We ask Gaia to clasp hold of those cords, making a strong connection between you and the energy of the earth. And as she does that, you feel grounded, which is connected to the energy of the earth. You also feel your energy body line up. You may feel yourself sit up straighter as your energy body lines itself up, which literally means to be centered. That's what it means to be centered, is to have your energy body line up along the midline of your body. Very good. Now, draw that earth's energy up the root cords, through the bottoms of your feet, and into your root chakra, and feel that energy settle there. Now you're grounded and connected, you're centered, and so we're ready to begin some energy breathing. So for energy breathing, what you're going to do is you're going to draw that root chakra energy all the way up through your energy body and out the crown of your head. That's breathing in new energy, and then we're going to breathe out old energy out the crown. And then you're going to breathe in new and breathe out old. And we're going to do it about 5 times. So I'm just going to prompt you. So breathe in new, life affirming, life force energy from your root chakra all the way up and out your crown. Ready? Draw that energy up and now blow it out through the crown of your head. And as you blow it out, you're releasing stagnant, unnecessary energy that's got your vibration down. Very good. Breathe in that new life force energy. And now breathe it out the crown of your head, releasing anything that no longer serves you. Good. One more time. Breathe it in and out. Let's do it 2 more times. Breathe it in, life force energy up. Stagnant energy out. Last time. Life force energy all the way up through your body. And release anything that no longer serves you out the crown of your head. Very good. I love that practice. I call it energy breathing. If you want to do more of it, I have a free download on my website, christybrower.com. Go to the free meditations tab, and you'll find energy breathing there as a guided imagery meditation with a little music. This is a great way to balance yourself every single day. It's a great way to realign yourself first and ground, and then clear out anything that no longer serves. So we hold on to stagnant energy in places in ourselves. Stagnant energy is like pond water. You know how pond water festers and gets stinky? That's what stagnant energy does inside of ourselves. It festers in us. It's not healthy for us. We need energy that moves. Healthy energy is energy that's always moving. So you're always breathing in new energy, breathing out old energy, just like you're breathing in oxygen, breathing out carbon dioxide. It is exactly the same concept. Oxygen's good for us, carbon dioxide is not. So we breathe in the good, we breathe out the bad. Same idea with energy breathing. Keeping that cycle going helps to keep your chakras balanced. It keeps your vibration up. You feel better physically and emotionally. You feel more connected spiritually. It's just overall a really good practice to do. So I recommend that Violet and anyone else that is struggling with that, go get that meditation and try doing energy breathing every morning. This is something that I recommend that everybody does every single day because I think it's very helpful. So I hope that that helped you, Violet. I know that it helped me. I felt myself sit up higher as I always do. I think it's really, really positive and helpful. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect from Violet there and move on to my next listener here. Nancy says, loving the show. Thank you. Glad you're here. Wondering if I should or need to change my work. Things just seem off right now. Okay, let's take a look, Nancy. Okay. I feel like you shouldn't change right now. I feel like there are some things going on, but that if you can ride them out, it will ultimately be a good thing. I feel like there's some significant changing that might happen in the next while where some people that work with you now may not be there anymore, or some people can't take the heat and so they leave. And you staying, and you are a very rooted, grounded, stable person. And because of that, you have the ability to withstand a lot. I think about again about the trees, that they have this root system that allows them to stay standing in all kinds of weather experiences. So as you Nancy, is a very rooted person, you have the ability to stay solid and firm as storms go on around you. I feel like you will benefit from staying in the long run, that it will actually help you to move up where you work and have some change in your benefits, maybe change in compensation, change in responsibilities, when you are seen as a person who can withstand the storm. And we all go through difficult things at work, in our work, and sometimes we withstand it and sometimes we don't. I feel like you can weather this, and that in the long run it will be a good thing for you. So I feel like you would be well, it would be worth it for you to stay where you're at and ride it out and see what happens. I just think, for one, I think that you have that in you, that you can do it, and that you don't need to run when things get difficult. I do feel like you will be okay as well. I don't think it's going to hurt you, and I think in the long run you're going to benefit. Okay. So thank you for that question. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate that. So I wanted to talk to you about my Master Healer series class. You guys know, if you've been listening for a while, that I am teaching a Master Healer series over at 12academy.com. That series only has 2 classes left, and we will have completed a 4-month Master Healer class, which has been an absolutely powerful and transformational experience for me and for my students. Just a tremendous group of people, and the changes that they have made and the work that they've done in their own lives is amazing. But it's almost over, which means I'm going to start a new series. I start a new series in September. I want to encourage you, if you feel drawn to be a healer, if you want not just to learn the skills, but to have practice, let me tell you how this class works. We meet once a week. We have a 1-hour class once a week. And then you are assigned a partner to work with, and you work with each other one-on-one throughout the week. And so you work on someone else every single day. You also work on yourself every single day. That's part of it, is that you do both. I have a forum, a private forum, where we communicate with each other. You communicate with your partner, you ask me questions, those kinds of things. But every week we learn a new skill, and then that skill is applied in your practice session. And so you practice, you ultimately end up practicing with every single person in the group. Sometimes you practice individually, sometimes you practice in groups of 3s. I've done a lot of different things, but you have not only the opportunity to learn the skills, but you have the opportunity to practice those skills with the guidance and support of a master teacher. And that's me. So I'm looking really forward to starting another series. This has been a really powerful experience, something I want to teach again. So if you are interested, I do have a few people on my waiting list. I have, I said I would take 8 last time. I actually have 6 who are completing the class. I think I'm going to take 10, because the number of people doesn't necessarily change everything about it. A lot of it stays the same. I think I'm going to take a maximum of 10 people in this course. I have probably at least half of that on my waiting list now. But if you want to take this class, if you're ready to take the leap, I want you to know it becomes a very personal process, because you are paired with someone who works on you every day. And so a lot of things come to light, a lot of issues come up, a lot of things that maybe you haven't healed yourself are come out in this class as a part of the class in a very positive way. I don't want to say that as a scary thing, but I do want you to be aware that that can happen. How I've seen it happen in this class is in beautiful ways, where people are very supported and really truly find some healing on something that maybe they haven't in the past. So I want to encourage you, if that sounds like you, if you want to be a healer, you want to learn from a master, and you want to spend 4 months with me, and your peers in the class, really coming out of the class with the skills to go out there and hang out your shingle if you want to, and be a healer, then this is the class for you. So if you would like more details, you can reach me several ways. If you're one of my clients that want to listen, want2listen.com, you just message me through the Click for Advisor system. You can find me here on Facebook, right here. You'll see me here on Facebook right now. You can message me here if you want to, or you can message me through my website, which is christybrower.com. Any of those ways is fine. Jane is asking, what healing modalities do you teach in your class? This is an energy healing series, and so the basic skills of energy healing, and then we build from there and add more specific and more advanced skills in energy healing, to include working with crystals, working on physical things, working on emotional things, understanding the energy body, making the connection between yourself and someone else, interpreting what you feel or what you see or what you perceive, and how does that work, healing something that you do see. When you see something that needs to be changed, what do you do with it? I also have included dark entity attachment clearing in this class. There's all kinds of stuff like that. And so I encourage you, even if you've had an energy healing class, you probably haven't had one like this one. So if this is something you're interested in, reach out to me. I can give you more details. The first class will be the first Monday in September, and it will run for 4 months. Okay, you guys, I have talked my way all the way down to the end of this show. I want to say thank all of you for being here and for listening here on 12 Radio. And as always, thanks for listening to 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.